It doesn't, I mean, the only way you get a ticket to be able to do that professionally is you have to go through all this schooling. But don't take all that schooling real seriously in terms of not being a human being who can be centered and present with another human being. That's the most important part of being a counselor. Not because you can diagnose what's going on with another human being and play all these mental games in your mind and sit there thinking you know what this other human being ought to do. In fact, I think the illustration in that book says that a homemaker sitting at a kitchen table with her next door neighbor can probably provide that next door neighbor with an incredible amount of relief because she has the capacity to sit there and shut up and listen. It doesn't say that exactly, but something to that effect. Well, what happens here is here we are trying to think our way into better living. Here we are trying to get in touch with our feelings, and that's important. Here we are so consumed with food, sex, caffeine, TV, sugar, working, etc. We're just out there. We are the most stimulated culture in the world. Man, if we get bored, we're going to go out and get a VCR and stick it in there and go to the store and get some M&Ms or go to the store and do whatever or sit around and drink alcohol and smoke dope or snort cocaine or whatever and you know, I'm not putting people down for those experiences, I guarantee, but at the same time, most people try to fill the void they feel inside, which is a spiritual void, by outer kind of physical experiences. Whether it's food, whether it's activities, whatever it is. And this is what this illustration shows up looking like. And what happens to spirit? Spirit's sound asleep. And I'm even talking about even if they're busy going to church, spirit doesn't wake up. It reminds me of this story. This little lady here in Greene County came to me one day about something going on in her family, and she was talking about her husband. And I can't remember what her husband's name is, but let's just call him Harry. She said, you know, Harry gets saved pretty near every Sunday, but he's still crazier than hell every Monday. And those of you who don't know what that means is here in our little community, altar calls are pretty hip. And a lot of people think if you get up on Sunday and you walk up to the front of the church and say, yeah, I'm just a sinner, and the minister says a prayer over you, boy, howdy, are you ever going to be in great shape after that? Well, that doesn't necessarily work. If that wakes you up spiritually, more power to you. But oftentimes that doesn't have much of an effect overall. And so what we have is a spirit that is asleep. And what I would like to do right now, if you'll help me move this back, is do a role play, which in my estimation gives us all a real good visual analysis and explanation on why it is so difficult to wake up spiritually. Now what I'm going to need are volunteers to come up and participate in this experience. So if I point to you, I'd really appreciate it if you could just come on up. And if for some reason you just absolutely are terrified to do this, that's okay. Come up anyway. No, if you absolutely don't want to, that's fine. But we need people to participate in this, so I'd appreciate it if you'd be willing to. So let's start with you. And you can come on up and just grab one of these, whichever one. Next. Now what I want you to do is go over here. What we're going to do is we're going to have two sides we're going to have two individuals who are going to go through, it's called the anatomy of falling in love and being in a relationship. Come on up and pick one. Here, pick another one.
Another one?
Yeah. Put that one back. That's a, well no, you can be a male for this.
Okay.
We'll just pretend you're a guy. Okay, come on up.
Am I over here?
You're right over there. Come on up, or come on down, however you want to look at it. Okay.
Over here?
Yeah.
Yeah, just pick any.
Anyone. Okay. Come on up. Next. Okay. Back row back here. Come on up. The first three, if you all step on up and pick up a card. Just pick one. Okay? Okay, now, huddle around each other if you're in the same group. And what we're going to be doing here is I want you to come on up, and I want you to come on up. Now these are the individuals that are going to be falling in love here in just a minute, okay? What's your name?
Daryl.
Daryl? I'm Bill. Nice meeting you. And you are?
Linda.
Linda and Daryl. All right. This is an experience of a lifetime. Linda and Daryl. We're glad you're here. Now I want you to just face out here and look at the camera and get together because your
Hips don't quite meet.
your hips. Well, that's all right. That happens from time to time. Don't go away. I've got some signs for you all. Okay. Hold up the sign, and as you can see, it says, "Oh boy." And read what it says on that sign on the other side.
Read it?
Please.
Okay. He is so wonderful, so kind, loving, and attentive. This is the real thing. Finally, yes!
Okay. And what does his sign say?
It must be love. It feels so good. This time I can really tell she's the one for me. Yeah.
Yes. All right. So go ahead and hold up your signs here. And read together, it says, no, hold them out. "Oh boy, hormone attack." Because that, you know, when you kind of look at love from a biochemical experience, what you're having is a hormone attack, and they're having one. Okay? All right. You can hold your signs down. In fact, why don't you give them to me, because this experience is going to change dramatically for you here in just a minute. Now, let's start with you and tell us what this says.
It says, "Be a real man. Don't wimp out. Do not feel or express any emotion. Be strong."
Okay, don't wimp out. Be a real man. Do not feel or express any emotions. Be strong. Now, what I want you to do is when I say go, I want you to go over and I want you to explain to him why he ought to be paying attention to you. All these people up here are going to be role-playing some unresolved issue in their lives. Okay? That's what's going to go on. You got it? Now, I want you all to try to stay close together and in love, but I want you all to separate them and get their attention. And although I want her to get his attention, I want you to get his attention too. Now, what does yours say?
Blame. If she hadn't have, I wouldn't have. Life is hard for a victim like me.
Great. Everybody hear that? Blame. If she hadn't have, I wouldn't have. Life is hard for a victim like me. Whenever we do that, just hold your sign up so everybody can see it. Great. What does yours say?
You are too busy to pray and meditate with all your really important stuff.
Okay. Too busy to do the inner work you need to do in order to get intuitively connected with each other. Too busy. He's too busy. Okay, just hold your sign out there. What does yours say?
Regrets. If only. What if? Self-pity.
Regrets. What? If only. What if? Self-pity. Here's his self-pity self over here. So he's got don't be a wimp. It's his ego deal. Blame. He's going to blame her for everything. He's too busy to do anything that's real helpful in terms of getting intuitively connected with himself. And he's feeling sorry for himself. Are you over on this side? Let's see. 2, 4, 5. Yeah, you're over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Okay. What does yours say?
Okay. Guilt.
Guilt.
You do not deserve love and support.
Okay. Just basically what every man really feels in our culture. You don't deserve anything really good, so you feel guilty. Not to say a lot of women don't feel that way too. Are you over on this side? Okay, you're over. Yeah, you're doing good.
Can't get enough. Food, money, security. Overeating, working, worry, fret, worry.
Okay. That's that little compulsive addictive part of his personality that right now he's not having to deal with. He's not overdoing anything because right now he's being compulsive and addictive about her. Okay? He's not having to worry about Mr. Donut and Haagen-Dazs ice cream tonight. But it'll show up, and I want you to go visit with him about it, okay? Now, I'm going to go over on this side and see what we're doing over here.
It says, be nice. Don't get angry. Don't feel angry and stuff it.
Okay, be nice, and don't get angry. Don't feel it. Don't feel angry. Stuff it. Now, whenever I say go, I want you to go over to her, and I want you to talk to her about that issue. And I want you to tell her this, okay? It's real important that you get her attention. All right? What does yours say?
Sadness.
You do not have enough energy to share. Withdraw into yourself and do not reach out for help or to help.
Okay, kind of a sadness, depression kind of card. You do not have enough energy to share, withdraw into yourself, and do not reach out for help or to help. Okay? Just hold your signs up. What does yours say?
Anger. You better get even before it's too late. Don't become open or vulnerable.
Good idea, especially for women, because you can't trust men, right? We all know that, don't we? I mean, you're going to tell, she's about ready to tell me. All right, what's this say?
Mine's fear. This relationship's not safe. I'm going to get hurt.
Just like the last one. You know what I mean? Just, he's another man. He's another man, and you can't trust, well, let's see what, hold your signs up.
They don't have enough connecting tissue.
Okay, you can't trust him. You're going to get hurt. And here it is. It sums it up. What does it say?
Hurt, you can't trust him.
Hurt, you can't trust him. Okay? Why don't you all just come on over here and just hold those signs up. You're just fine right there. Now, what happens during the relationship is as they are in love, they don't even feel this stuff here. And what's interesting, if you don't get into a relationship, this stuff ordinarily doesn't surface a whole lot. It's only in relationship that these issues are activated, because these are relationship issues, issues that surface with your parents, issues that surface with your siblings, issues that surface with your other relationships that didn't work. So if you're single and all your friends that are married are in therapy, you're saying, well, I'm glad I don't need any help because, gosh, I feel pretty good. Well, wait until you get married and that first stage of romance comes to a halt. Then what happens, these issues surface. Now, what I want you to do is when I go like that, I want you all to get in these people's face and tell them about what's going on with your issue, because interestingly enough, each issue thinks it's the most important issue. Did you ever notice that? When you had like a dilemma, you were feeling guilty and mad, it's like both of them wanted your attention. No, pay attention to me. You're guilty. No, you're pissed. No, you're guilty. No, you know, and so what I want you to do is really, with passion, plead your case to these people. All right? Now, if this gets too weird, put your fingers in your ears and start singing whatever you want to just to block it off, okay? Because it's going to get loud. Mm-hmm. All right? You got it?
Okay.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay. And like I say, it may get too overwhelming, and just go like that and just start humming or whatever. And he's going to film it, so you can't run to the other area of the room. Just stay here, and you all do your thing. Then, whenever I touch you on your back, I want you to stop carrying on. In other words, there'll be a point to where we're going to pretend that